right, thank you, Madam Chair. We are going to jump into the Cslip workshop, the Cslip Cycle 6 workshop. My name is Carrie McNeil at Broward MPO. I am managing the Cslip program, and we are entering our 6th cycle. I also have Benjamin Restrepo here with me. He will be also presenting as well. And let's see, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen. All right. Okay, so here's this lovely flyer that saves the date for the workshop. Just a quick reminder, the workshop, we're providing a walkthrough for the Cycle 6 application and all the required documents for submittal. And we'll take you through that application and remind you where everything is posted on the website. And the application deadline this year is November 10th. So let's go ahead and jump into the agenda for today. So we've got first introductions. I don't know, we can move into, Benjamin, if you want to do a formal introduction. Sorry, I skipped over you there.
Hi everyone, I'm Benjamin Restrepo, engineer here at Broward MPO, and I'll be working with Carrie in vetting out the Cslip applications and then moving them forward into programming.
And it looks like I have the wrong agenda pulled up here. Give me 1 second. That was from our pre-application meetings. There we go. All right. So, so we're going to do a quick overview of the Cslip program. I've got a short presentation here, so I'll go ahead and pull that up now. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Shouldn't take too much time, but just wanted to go over the purpose of the program. So Cslip, of course, stands for Complete Streets and Other Localized Initiatives Program. It is a grant program that provides funding for small local transportation projects, which improve the safety and mobility for all transportation users in Broward County. Just a reminder of the process that we go through each year. So the applications are accepted on an annual basis. So each year there's a new cycle with a chance to submit for our local partners to submit. So you know, in the late summer, early fall, we host, as part of the application development, we host pre-application workshops. So we just concluded our pre-application workshops the other day. So, you know, the cities, and you can work on application development throughout the year at any time. So application submission is usually in mid-November each year. And then after that, we go through an evaluation and ranking process. So we look at the projects, we apply a objective ranking tool, a ranking process to evaluate the projects, and then we produce a final prioritized list. So this then gets, the projects are then vetted, and then they move into the programming stage. Again, for the ranking, just to go over that process that we go through, we apply an objective ranking process to produce a raw score that we start off with. And so this is the updated Cslip evaluation criteria table. This is posted on the website, and I'll show you in a few minutes where you can find this. So this was recently approved by the MPO board at the beginning of this month. So projects are submitted, you know, applicants provide their project limits. We digitize, you know, those projects are digitized in GIS, and then we apply based on the criteria. A buffer is applied to the project, and we see how each project scores in each category. And again, that produces a raw score, which we then work with to create. That's the beginning of creating this ranked and prioritized list, which then is ultimately approved by the MPO board. Really quickly, the vetting process. So we go through, a typical vetting process is first a pre-review of the project, see if it's eligible, feasible, and then we go out, we'll conduct site visits with FDOT, and then we come back and review the site visit findings, coordinate with other agencies, environmental, planning, engineering, etc. And then lastly, the vetting closeout. So just a reminder, these are the 6 funding programs introduced in the 2045 MTP development process. So this chart here just is a reminder. It shows how the funding is distributed. The MPO attributable funds are distributed between those 6 funding programs. So there's Cslip right there in the middle, about 20%. Project delivery changes, just a reminder that the options for delivering these Cslip projects, FDOT is no longer delivering the projects. LAP, or the local agency program, is the process that will be used. And we'll go over, there has to be a commitment from the city when they submit their application that they're committed to delivering their project via LAP. MTech is the delivery arm of the MPO that the cities or the local agencies could choose to participate in. And if you have any questions about MTech, we're still working out some of the details, but reach out to me and I'd be happy to provide you with some more information. And okay, to reiterate, the deadline this year for applications is November 10th at 5 p.m. So that is posted on the website, and I'll send out reminders and everything so you won't forget that day, but November 10th. So that's the end of this presentation of the overview of the Cslip program. So now we will roll into the Cslip website walkthrough. All right, so you begin by going to browardmpo.org, and then from here on the homepage, you go to what we do. And to access the Cslip website, underneath major functions, you click on Complete Streets and Localized Initiatives, Other Localized Initiatives Program. So here you can see on the left-hand side the different pages that we have. This is the overview page, or the homepage, where we have updates posted. Here's that workshop flyer that was posted for today's workshop. Just a reminder of who the eligible recipients are, and then my contact information at the bottom. The history page, history goes over the history of the program. If you'd like to read a little bit more about the Cslip history, you can come here. If you have any questions, let me know. Q&A page, this is pretty informative. Again, if there's something on here that, or if there's something that's not on here, reach out to me and I'll see if I can get an answer for you. And then the past awards goes over the funds that were distributed to the number of projects and how many agencies they covered, and then you can look at further detail here. All right, so application information. This is where you will go to find all the required documents, a list of the required documents that you need to submit for your application. The program policies are here. They were updated. I'll just show you, just click, and they were updated recently, just approved by the MPO board. So you can go ahead and just refresh. I did go over these at our pre-application meetings, but in case you missed something or just want to save a copy, you can access them there. A copy of the application is here as well. It's a Word document. So what you can do as you get ready for this cycle and prepare your application, you can download a copy of the application and start filling it out as you are preparing your application, so that when you go to fill out the actual application, everything will be here. So you'll have that to reference, and you can even copy paste, as I will do in our next part of the workshop, is where I demonstrate how to fill out the online application. All right, so the application checklist. This is also a downloadable document. You click to open up a Word document. And I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. All right. So a project location map is the first required document. Along with that, an existing and proposed typical section for the project. A detailed scope of work for the project is also required. A map denoting the right-of-way for the project, proof of right-of-way. Just a reminder that acquisition of right-of-way is not a eligible expense for the CSLIP program. Resolution from the applicant's governing board approving the project. And then there are a couple other resolutions where if, say, the applicant is not the facility owner, you would want to submit more than one resolution, and we can get into that in the next part of the presentation. But detailed public support, tell us how community support for the project was gathered and evaluated, including consideration for environmental justice populations. Completed FDOT cost estimate form. Benjamin will be going over how to fill that out in just a minute. And then the last four are, if applicable. So if you have a page from a local planner program that references the project, go ahead and submit that. Same thing with any supporting data or technical analysis. If the project is part of an MPO endorsed corridor study, go ahead and include the page where the project is referenced. And then if the project is adjacent to any upcoming or currently underway projects, then provide available documentation to verify the adjacent projects. So in this year's application, online application, you'll be able to upload all of these documents directly to the application. There is a size limitation, so I will go over that in a few minutes, and what to do if whatever document you have happens to exceed that size limitation. So. Resolution language, you can access that here. A draft resolution language is the same as last year, so that's still there on the website for your reference. And I'll go ahead and turn it over to Benjamin because we've reached the cost estimate form.
Thank you, Carrie. So I'm going to give a brief presentation on how to fill out the cost estimate form and help you navigate through this a little bit quicker so you don't get stuck in the vetting process. So the first thing I'm going to do is share my screen. Carrie, please let me know when you can see the screen.
Yeah, you're good to go.
Okay. So what you do is you come to the Cslip application information page, what Carrie just recently showed you, and then you would come down to the cost estimate form here. You click on the cost estimate form, and then if you click on it, it would ask you to download a zip file. And this is kind of what the zip file will look like. When you open up the zip file, it has a little folder that's called Lab Cost Estimates. You click on the cost estimates, and then first thing you would click on is the Lab Cost Estimate form. You go ahead and open up the cost estimate form, and this will appear. So I have some things here. Just get rid of that. There we go. So in this cost estimate form, one of the first things you want to write down is your project description. And this project description will be the corridor or the roadway or the asset that you want improvements on. You write the description, maybe write the limits of your project over here in the description as well. This column here on your left is your pay item number. You would put in the pay item number for the item that's going to be calculated. And then over here in the pay item description, you would write a description of what your pay item is. So there's two columns here. One is the FHWA participating columns, and then the other one is the FHWA non-participating columns, which would be the local funds. I'm going to go through this first one, the FHWA participating items column. In this one, you would type in the quantity of your pay items. What is the amount of the item that you're asking for? The units here would be such as linear feet, square yards each. And over here in the engineering's unit cost, it would be the average cost of that pay item. The cost estimate sheet has some built-in formulas, so you don't have to go in and type in times quantity times engineering cost to get your total cost. For example, if you type in your quantity as 100, and then the cost of that item is 43, it'll automatically spit out $4,300. The FHWA participating costs, these are the items that are eligible for reimbursement. And these are the items that will trigger your caps, your minimum and your maximum caps. So the total cost would need to add up to a minimum of $500,000 here at the bottom to be eligible for Cslip, but also can't go over $3 million for reimbursement. To the right, the FHWA non-participating items, the local funds, these columns you'll fill out pay items or items that are ineligible for funding. So for example, of ineligible items would be decorative lighting. So these are things that would be funded solely through local funds. All right, moving on. If you don't know your pay items to fill out your Excel sheet, I'm going to show you how you can look those up. What you would do is you'd come back to your zip file, and you would click on the link that says Pay Item Database. You hit Open, and it will bring you to the design quantities estimate. If you kind of already know what your pay item range is, you can go straight to the chapter, the BOE chapter index, and then just go straight to your pay item. But if you're not exactly sure what your range is, or if you just want to make sure you have the right number, you can click on the master pay item list. You just wait for this to load up. And if you have a basic description of what you want your pay item, or what you want to charge, you're right here, and we're going to use sidewalk as an example. So you type in sidewalk, and then you come to your left and hit apply. When you hit apply, with the master pay item list will look for all items that have the name sidewalk in them. So they'll bring up, you can see your inlet, ditch bottoms, back of sidewalk, PVC, all this other stuff. Anything has sidewalk. But for this example, we'll just choose a 4-inch thick concrete sidewalk. So you come to this 4-inch thick concrete sidewalk. You notice to your left is your pay item number, to your right is your unit, and then after you've gotten your pay item number, you kind of take a note of this. So it's 0522-1. We'll just copy that. So after we get the pay item number, we'll go back to the lab cost estimate zip file, and then we will look at the average cost of it by going to the pay item cost history. In this new website, or this new page, this is the historical cost and other information page. You would scroll all the way down to figure out what area you're in. So since we're Broward County, we would go all the way down to area 12, which is Broward and Palm Beach County. And why is this important is because when you go back to the beginning of the page, it will show you the moving averages for the state for 6 months, the moving averages for the state for 12 months, and then also for your market area. So the first thing we want you to do is go to your market area. You can click on Excel or PDF, but for this example, it would be PDF. And we'll just do a simple Control F. Everyone kind of knows Control F is find, and then we'll type in sidewalk. And we'll just go down until we see that number 0522-1. So sidewalk 4-inch thick. So this is kind of the check when we checked with the basis of estimates. It's the same. The pay item is the same, 0522-1. And then the description is also concrete sidewalk and driveways 4-inch thick. So we'll go over here and take the weighted average. And this is what you would use back in your cost estimate form for engineer's cost. So we'll go ahead and just paste that in there, $49.16. So if you choose a pay item that for some reason did not appear in the market area 12, don't be alarmed. It doesn't mean your pay item is ineligible for reimbursement. It just means that that item wasn't bid in our area of Broward County or Palm Beach County in the last 12 months. So if the pay item doesn't appear, what you do is you go back and then you choose either the current 6 months moving statewide averages or the current 12 months moving statewide averages. And when you go through this, most of the pay items are the same, but again, some items are bid statewide that aren't necessarily bid in Broward County. So we'll do control find again. Sidewalk, just go back down to that number 0522-1. And if you kind of remember what the weighted average was before, in the area 12, it was 49 and change. Well, now the weighted average is 43.19. The price difference is because, again, this is statewide. It's the average of the entire state. And I'm assuming concrete is a little more expensive here in area 12, Broward County and Palm Beach. All right, so we'll go back to our cost estimate sheet. After you start putting in your pay item number and your description, and then the engineer's cost, and also the unit of each item, you start doing your design and your estimates of your design, and then start filling in the quantities here. And this will all add up to a number. And this number is really important here, and we'll touch on it a little later in the presentation. But just to kind of set the stage again, this funds for construction is what your cap for the Cslip is going to be based off of. So it's this for reimbursement, this number would have to be under 3 million. When we come to the bottom of the sheet, you'll have other things like contingency, CEI, design. All those things are not, they do not go towards the cap of the Cslip project. So Cslip project caps are $3 million just for construction funds. Does not include design, CEI, or Cslip in that cap. But CEI and design are reimbursable through this program. So after you come up with your funds for construction, and then the local funds, you get a subtotal of X amount of dollars. And then you come down here and you would estimate your design, your contingency, and your CEI. For design, I would recommend estimating a percentage between 10 and 20%. The contingency is 20%. It is pretty good enough, but if you think your contingency can be less, then you would estimate less. So once all of these, you have your funds for construction, your subtotal of your local funds, plus your estimates for design, CEI, and contingency, you'll get a total construction cost estimate. This number is very important as well. It just tells us how big a project we can expect from your application. And that is the end of my run through of the cost estimate. And I'll hand it back to Carrie.
Great, thank you so much. All right, I'll share my screen again. We'll jump back into the agenda. All right, so just to finish going through the website, the application information page. So the evaluation chart and the evaluation data have been updated with the cycle 6 information. So if you click here, you can take a look at that evaluation chart and get an idea for how the projects will be evaluated. Again, there were changes from last year in this chart. So go ahead and take a look at that. And also, if you're interested, if you have GIS, if you have ArcMap, or if you have a department that does, and you want to take a look at the evaluation data, all the GIS data used in the tool, in the evaluation tool, is posted here. So that'll pop up as a zip file that you can download. All right, and just a reminder, this webinar or this workshop is being recorded. So at the end of the workshop today, we will post this recording on the website, just like in years past. So if you'd like to look at this, reference back to this workshop later when you're filling out the application, we'll post it here underneath the application walkthrough on the application information webpage. So you'll have that resource there. And then just to let you all know, when we will post the link to submit an application, it'll be posted right here. We will post it, it'll be available starting tomorrow morning. So you just go to submitting an application, and again, there'll be a link here that you'll click on to access that online application. So I'm going to go ahead and move into filling out the actual application. All right, so when you click on that link, it'll take you to a screen that looks just like this, the Cslip cycle 6. And what you'll do is definitely read through, start on the first page with reading through the instructions, making sure that you're aware of what's expected. There are some questions that are required. They'll have an asterisk next to them, so you know they're required. You won't be able to click next and move through the application until you fill out that question. It'll stop you. And then there are a few questions with character limit on your response. All right, so the first question, have you discussed this project with the MPO staff at a pre-application meeting? According to the program policies, a pre-application meeting is required for each cycle. So we ask that you have scheduled a pre-application meeting and discuss the project with us at that meeting before submitting it. So if you click no, it won't. It'll give you an error message that you can't move forward with the application because the pre-application meeting is required. Let's just go ahead and say that we have had a pre-application meeting so we can move forward. And then it asks you, have you reviewed all the text above and the information available on the Broward MPO CSLIP website? So I'm going to say yes. And so just a reminder that this application, similar to last year, it does need to be filled out in one shot. There's not like a login where you can log out and log back in. However, I will just state if you do close out of the application, if you were to bring it up in the same web browser on the same machine, you should be able to recover that whatever information you've already filled out should still be there. But if you switch machines or if you switch web browsers, that would not come up. So again, we encourage you to fill out a application question list, fill out the Word document ahead of time. I've done that for today, so I'm going to copy paste directly from that to show you here from this question list to make things easier. And in case you do lose something, you'll have it here to reference. So let's go ahead and click through to the next screen. All right, so project name, we're going to go ahead and enter that just for a kind of neutral sample project. We're going to call it Cslip Streets Bike Lanes. And then for the 4 project categories, we ask you to select one that best represents the project. You do have to just pick one, but you will have an opportunity later to tell us different, to list like the different project elements that are maybe secondary. And you'll be able to give us details on that. So this isn't your only opportunity to tell us what the project is about. All right, so here you have a character limit of 200, and it'll count down for you in the bottom right-hand corner of how many characters you have left. So I'm going to go ahead and copy paste. There is spell check on here, so it should catch like basic spelling errors, but nothing too advanced. So definitely double check everything. And then here there's a drop down. Select the agency that you're applying on behalf of. So you should be able to scroll through and find your, find yourself here. I'm going to go ahead and click other, and I'm just going to enter the Broward MPO. Will your agency be submitting multiple applications? You could say yes, and then it asks you if there's a prioritization of these applications. But for now, I'm gonna say that no, this is not a joint application, or that we're not submitting multiple applications this cycle. And then it asks you if it's a joint application. So if you click yes, it'll ask you to list out who's the partner agency, is it another municipality. But for our cases now, I'm gonna go ahead and click no. But you do have that option to provide that information. So I'm gonna say my name and my email address. All right, will you be the main contact moving forward? Yes, I am, but just so you know, you could click no if say you're filling out the application, but someone else really is the point of contact. You can provide their name and email address here. if you click no. All right, is the person who does fill out this application, you will receive an email confirmation to this email address. All right, and is your agency aware that all CSLIP projects must be delivered via the local agency program or the LAP process? I would advise that you click yes. If you click no, it just gives you this nice little gentle reminder here that all projects must be delivered via LAP. And then it has this additional question: is your agency interested in having MTech, BMPO's delivery arm, manage the project if awarded? So if you are interested, then you could click yes, and we could reach out to you with more information. All right, facility information, facility name. We're just going to go ahead and call this Cslip Street, and then the detailed project limits are A to B. So again, you should have enough room in here to really tell us your project, to explain the limits of your project. I know a lot of projects are have multiple segments. It's not just one road. So there should be enough room in here to write it out. If not, if you run out of room, there is that option, or it's required that you have to upload a project location map. So if you run out of room to explain the project limits here, you can always show us in your project location map that you upload as a additional, as a supplemental document to this online fillable application. We'll take a look at that and make sure that they line up, or if there's more, we'll make note of that. So here we've got this first map here. When you scroll down, this is just an example to show you what all the different symbols represent. So this you cannot click on, it's just for instructional purposes, but you can see, the most important button here is where you click to start drawing your line, to start drawing your segment. So, and if you need to, start, because it's going to be really from a far back perspective, so you can go ahead and type in your city name or street name that you're looking for and get started in this search bar here. And then of course you can toggle, and we've got the home button, the default map view, find my location, and then enlarge the map. So let's go ahead and scroll down to the real map. So it just asks you to denote the project's location using the digitizing tool below to place a line segment. So only one line segment can be digitized in this application. If you have a project that has multiple line segments, just digitize one on this map and include the rest on that project location map in the document upload later on. So just for the purposes of demonstration, and so it does tell you have to use Control and scroll. So you got to click Control when you're moving around on the map. So I'm just going to pick a random location. Let's see. So I'm going to look. I'm going to go to West Cypress Creek and near the MPO office, and I'm just going to say, for example, I want my project location to be here. You double click when you're done drawing the line, and if you want to edit the line after you've already drawn it, you can click this button to edit. Or if you don't like it, you can click the trash can or delete it. So, and for example, if you want the line to turn a corner, you can just click once and then move it somewhere else. And then again, when you're done, you double click. So let's go ahead and keep moving on. So you'll just click next. All right, facility type, it's a road, so you do have options to select a greenway or other, and if you select other, you can go ahead and list the facility type. I'm going to say that yes, we do own the facility for the full extent of the project, but if you select no, it does give you the opportunity to select the names of the other owners. So you can select the state, FDOT, Broward County, or another agency. And then if you click another agency, you can fill in what the name of that other agency is. All right, is the project able to be constructed within the constraints of the right-of-way? Again, just a reminder, the right-of-way acquisition is not permitted or eligible through for funding through Cslip. And then, so we're going to go ahead for our purposes and just say yes. And then here is the applicant's agency prepared to fund the operations and maintenance associated with the project. This is mentioned in the Cslip policies that the agency, the applicant, you have to be prepared to fund the operations and maintenance. The Cslip funding does not cover that. So let's go ahead and say yes. And it reminds you that you have to list out, state that commitment in your agency's resolution of support. All right, here's a chance for you to just provide a written explanation of how your agency went out and gathered community support for the project. Obviously we'll ask you to provide documentation of the public support in the document upload section, and there's just a little note reminder of that. But if you just want to go ahead and give us a brief explanation here, this is your opportunity to do so. All right. Here, I'm just going to enter in some numbers just to go through the facility description, just to demonstrate filling out with the tool. Existing right-of-way width, this is a required question. Existing number of travel lanes, let's say 2. I'm going to say no proposed changes to curb and gutter. All right, so now we're entering, like I mentioned earlier, this is your opportunity to tell us what are all the project elements that apply to your project. So this includes any impacts of your project. So utilities and drainage, for example, even though the Cslip program will not provide funding for utility relocation, for example, still let us know if that is inevitably going to be part of the scope of work. So I'm just going to go ahead for this and just fill out bike lanes. But just so you know, if you want, you can fill out or you can select multiple items here. So it will let you select more than one. All right, then when we hit next, this next part, it's only going to carry over anything that you selected from the previous page. So since I just selected bicycle lanes, it's only going to give me a chance to explain how the bicycle lanes are a part of the scope of work. So, under each element, write a description of the improvements. Try to be descriptive as possible, running lengths, widths, heights, materials, locations, etc. So I'm just going to put in some example text. Okay, this is a required question. The project solves under the purpose and need. Project solves the problem of. We want to just get an idea of what the point of the project is. What was the the driving force for this project? Did community residents ask for it? Is this something that's identified in a I don't know, bicycle and trails master plan, something like that. So let's go ahead and fill out some example text here and keep moving forward. And then same thing, I'm going to fill in for the project is the best solution because we have a 10,000 character limit here, so you have lots of room to write. And then the project fulfills commitment 2045 goals and objectives by. So we'd just like to hear from you how you think this addresses or fulfills the Broward MPO's commitment 2045 or the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. And again, you have a 10,000 character limit. And these are required questions. So they'll ask you to fill out something in order to move forward. So we're almost through with the application. This is page 10 of 12. And I'm just going to call on Benjamin to just give a brief explanation of and a reminder of what you're supposed to enter when you get to this estimated total construction costs and then the estimated funds for construction.
Thanks, Gary. So just to kind of recap or to refresh your mind, the estimated total construction cost is the sum of everything, all the pay items, the percentages for design, CI, and your contingency, and also the ineligible items that are ineligible for reimbursement, but you are going to pay for with just your local funds. The estimated funds for construction are just those pay items, or the sum of the pay items of the construction costs just for the construction items, which does not include design, does not include contingency, does not include CEI, and also does not include anything that will be funded by your local funds. And then the last one, the estimated annual O&M, that's what your estimated maintenance cost is. You believe it would cost the city to maintain the new improvements that you were putting in. And back to you, Karen.
All right, great, thank you. I just entered in some numbers here, for example, and we're going to go ahead and click submit or click next. We've reached the document upload portion of the application. So again, like I mentioned before, you can upload your document directly through the application, the online application portal, part of Survey123. Couple things, or a few things. You can upload one file per question. So, if you have, say, multiple documents, I would advise that you, merge them, that you combine them into one document and upload. There is a maximum, a size limit of a maximum of 10 megabytes. So, you can compress the files, you can reduce the size. If your file size exceeds the 10 megabytes, let me know, send me an email. When you will receive a confirmation email after you fill out the application saying that you've filled it out, that it's been received. You can reply directly to that email and say, hey, I need a link to upload the files, and I will receive that email. Or you can send a separate email to me, even like while you're filling out the application. If you know right away, okay, I'm going to need more space, let me know, and we'll send you a link. I'm just going to pull up, for example, here. It'll be in OneDrive, so you'll be able to just upload items directly to there. So you can upload a file and select it and drop it in. It's really easy. If you have any, of course, if you have any questions when you go through it, let me know. But this is how we'll address anything that goes over that 10 megabytes. But go ahead and show, and we ask that if you need that unique file transfer site, if you need that extra resource, please let me know a minimum of 48 hours prior to the Cslip application deadline. So there's no last minute, like right before November 10th, please let me know at least a couple days in advance so that you have time for me to get you that link and upload prior to the deadline. Try to keep the file name short. Sometimes it causes an error when the submit button is clicked if the file name is too long. So, all right. Another important thing, and I'll go ahead and demonstrate, is when you select the file, make sure that the file type option, the bottom right of the window, and I'll show you this in just a second, is set to all files and not just to image files. And then also do not drag a file into the window. So this meaning the window. Go ahead and we're going to click on select file and actually choose the document that we want rather than opening something up and dragging it in. It just could result in a new web page to open and your application might be cleared. So yeah, just those few things. Upload one file per each question and maximum size of 10 megabytes, and do not drag the files into the window. So what we went over before, having the, I think it was the document checklist, is we'd recommend having a file ready on your, on your desktop, on your local computer that already has everything, organized in it, ready for your submittal. So I have here, you can see I've got my Word document with all the questions, everything filled out. So we've got that ready to go when I fill out the application, and then a folder with all of your uploads for the document upload section. So this is what I'm going to be pulling from when I fill out this section right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on project location map. And this is what we were talking about here in the bottom right hand corner. Clicking this, making sure this says all files, so that when you go to search for your files, that everything appears and not just image files. So I'm going to go ahead and put in that location map. So it tells me, it isn't too large, and if you make a mistake and you want to remove it, go ahead and click that trash can button and upload again. All right. Existing proposed typical section. Detailed scope, including specific improvements or elements. Map denoting the right-of-way for the project. Resolution from the applicant's governing board. So this is the area where we went over a few minutes ago, where there were technically in the document checklist, in the application checklist, there were 3 line items for resolutions. So if you happen to be both the applicant and the facility owner, and the applicant who is if you're the applicant and your agency is responsible for the operation and maintenance, you might just have one resolution that takes care of all 3 things. Since these are going to be required questions, like you need to upload something, go ahead and upload. You can just upload the same resolution for all 3 of these to satisfy all 3 questions. So again, even if it's not a separate resolution for each of them, just because it is a required question, go ahead and upload that resolution of support. Even if it's the same one, just go ahead and upload it 3 times. All right. Okay, moving into public support. We're looking for copies of public outreach flyers, mailers, email blasts, meeting minutes, letters of support from HOAs, things like that. So and that completed FDOT cost estimate form, you'll upload it here. Make sure that that is signed and sealed by a professional engineer. And then these last 4, as shown in the document, the application checklist, they are optional. So if you don't have one of these, the page from a local planner program that references the project, if your project isn't part of an MPO endorsed corridor study or anything like that, these aren't required documents. But I'm going to go ahead and just, for the sake of demonstration, show that we're uploading something for it. Right. Okay, so that completes the document upload. So, you can go ahead and just scroll back, make sure everything is, you have something entered for all the required documents. If you have any questions about, combining files, merging files, reducing file size, reach out to me. You can reach out to me starting, now all the way up until November 10th. Please don't wait, to the last minute. I'm available now. So go ahead and reach out, and we can figure out what the best way to proceed is. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and click next. And that takes us to the last page. you just have to agree, select that you agree that you have filled out the application to the best of your abilities and the most accurate information available to you. If you click decline, then your application might become ineligible for programming through the CSLIP program. So again, you will receive a confirmation email. However, if you receive an error when you click the submit button, don't close out of the application and don't click submit multiple times. Just keep it open and contact me, and keep it open on your browser. Contact me and we'll see if we can recover that information or get that error resolved. So again, if you do happen to click out of your application, if you were to open up the application or go to that link on the MPO's website on the same machine, same computer, on the same web browser, you should be able to recover your information. But again, if you have an error, just reach out to me and leave it up. That's it. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. So you should receive, after this little thing is done uploading, you should receive on the very last screen should tell you that you have completed the application. So we'll just wait a second here. I guess it's really thinking if it wants to accept my application or not. Anyways, it should just give you one last screen that says, thanks, you've successfully submitted, thanks for submitting. This is we've got a beta version here. So again, by tomorrow morning, we're gonna just post the actual link to submit an application. So that'll be live tomorrow. And again, the application deadline is November 10th. You'll see that it's posted here on the Cslip overview page, November 10th, and I can put another reminder on the application information page. Again, you would come to this page to find the link here. Last thing I will go over is, before we conclude and move on to the Q&A, we do have, it is not going to be required as it's not a required document at the time of submittal on November 10th, but we have been notified by FDOT that applicants will need to fill out this funding application this year, the FDOT Transportation Alternative Set-Aside Program funding application. There are a lot of overlapping questions with questions that overlap with the Cslip application. So we will reach out to the cities once we receive an application from them through our portal, and assist you in filling out this application. So just wanted to familiarize you all with this, and let you know you'll see it again. It is not due by November 10th, but we're going to work with you. That'll be the next step to get this filled out using the information that you shared with us in the portal. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. If you'd like a copy of your application, completed application, after you fill it out, when you get that confirmation email, you can reply to it and request a copy of that complete application. Or if you need more space, let me know. We can reply to that email and we'll get you that link to upload additional documents. Thank you so much.